it's Marita from the Nurse Lounge, and today we're going to do something different on my channel. We're going to do a story time, get ready with me, nurse edition. So I am going to the movies tonight. I'm going to see The Photograph, I think. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to not only do two things that I love. So I like to put on makeup and get ready and go out. And I also, of course, like nursing. So this is a story I wanted to share with you probably about a year ago, since this channel is about a little over a year old, 14 months old. But I just wanted to wait for the right opportunity. I wanted to see how this channel was going to do before I, come tell this story. But what I'm going to do is, basically, I have my makeup products over here. I'm going to kind of do my makeup, and it's going to be just a light, soft glam, because I'm just going to the movies, nothing big. And while I'm getting my makeup, I'm going to tell you the products that I'm using. I'm trying to remember to do that and tell you this story. So this will be a blend of the two things that I love to do. So anyway, I am in my Fenty robe. I love Savage Fenty. If you like the Rihanna line, this is a Fenty robe. It's like a jersey kind of like sweatshirt kind of material. I love it though. So I'm wearing this, and I'm not wearing this out. I'm wearing this to do my makeup, obviously. My hair is already tied back. I've already did my my face care in terms of my washing my face, moisturizer, and things like that. I've already did my brows off camera, so I'm going to now just go right in into do the primer, and from the primer to the end look, and then tell you the story while we're doing it. But before I do that, I was going to go ahead and show you what I did use for my brows, or what I do use for my brows. And this is not my favorite one. I'm just actually trying to use this up, but this is the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit. It is the faster tipped one, or whatever you want to call it. I do not like, well, I like it, but I found the Precisely My Brow better, and I like that one better. So I'm just trying to use this one up. And once I use this one up, I will exclusively use the other one that I have. So you have your spoolie here on the end, which I've already did my brows. And I've used this one. This was in the color 5. I used 4.5 in the other one. So this is what it looks like. This is what I've already used for my brows, and that's pretty much it. And then right now I need to get my brows done. So to conceal my underbrow area, I use this LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is in the color Fawn, I want to say. And I usually use it just to basically, do underneath the brow, on top of the brow, things like that. And then I clean that up. That's how I clean my brows up. And then after that, this is one of my favorite new products. It's called the Anastasia by Beverly Hills Pro Pencil. I got it in base 3. This is what it looks like right here. And I basically just use this for under eye, kind of like subdue highlight. And I just kind of smudge it in. So that's kind of what you will see right here. I do have a mirror right here on the side, so you'll see me looking over here toward my mirror when I actually go to apply my foundation and things like that. But anyway, that's what I've used thus far. Fresh face, clean, ready for my primer. And now it is story time. Before I go there, I am using the Pore Professional Matte Rescue by Benefit. This costs $30 at Sephora. This is what I'm going to use for my primer. All right, so story time. In case y'all don't know, I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for about 15 years now. 15 and a half years now. And basically, this happened to me back when I was, how many years out? Let's see, 18 months out of school. So I graduated from nursing school in 2004. So this happened in 2006. This happened in probably March-ish, 2006, around there, February, March. So anyway, I was working at this hospital that I will keep nameless. And I worked on OB, which is what I am, an OB nurse. I'm just putting some more primer on just to kind of mattify. I do have oily skin. So anyway, I was working OB like I always do, which is nothing new. But what ended up happening was I worked on a unit in which I guess you want to say this is a kind of like a good old boy type unit. I found it after the fact. And so basically this video is about how well, let me back up. This video is basically about a story about how I had to deal with adversity at this job. I was a newer nurse, meaning I was 18 months out of school, so I was a newer nurse. I was the only African-American nurse on that unit, and I was basically challenged in a lot of ways, and I'm not sure if it was because of my ethnicity, race, whatever, or was it because of just I was not part of the clique or the good old boy system. So I want to kind of tell you a story about how sometimes things happen and why you sometimes have to go to hospitals or go to units where you actually, I wouldn't say fit in, but where you get along with other people, because that was the issue with this facility. Now, with that being said, I remember there was the janitor, housekeeper. He was a black housekeeper. And he would always come pull me to the side and say, hey, he said, you're not going to make it here. No one ever does that looks like you. And so I'm like, okay, whatever, whatever that means. At that time, I was actually in school to get my master's degree. I had just started my program. I was probably my second semester of my master's degree. And so, yeah, 2006. So I started in 2000. No, I started that semester. So, no, I started in 2005 for my master's program. So anyway, yeah, fall of 2005 when I started my master's. So 2006 spring, so February-ish. I had been in school for maybe 6 to 8 months at that point in time. So anyway, he just told me I was not gonna fit in and things like that. That they have a way about doing people like you, meaning people that look like me. Now, mind you, he's the same race I am, but he was just trying to warn me. So fast forward, I was having a great time at this facility. We wore pink. That was the color we wore. Pink is my favorite color. For foundation, I'm using the, what is this called? Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation up to 24-hour wear. This is my new favorite foundation. I am in the color 70 in N. And I'm just going to basically take a few pumps right here. It's very lightweight. This is almost empty. So about that much. And dot my face with it. So, I had noticed that, when I told people I was going for my master's degree, that they started changing in terms of how they treated me. Now, mind you, we had people there who they were Caucasian, but they were techs, and they were able to go get their RN actually like physically go to school. They worked around their schedule. For me, I was going to school online, so I really didn't need to work around my schedule until it came time for clinicals, which clinicals wasn't going to be for another 2 years. So who's to say I was even going to be there in 2 years anyway? You know how that works. So anyway, we had situations where there, it was great for, what it was great for. They were really flexible with my schedule in terms of like, making sure we had holidays off and things like that. But the issue was this one night, I was working night shift at the time, and I had this one patient, and she was what they call a VIP patient. Now, I don't do VIP patients. I just don't. I don't believe in it, for one. So basically what a VIP, if you don't know what a VIP patient is, it's a patient. Hold on, let me wipe off some of this makeup off my hand so I don't smear it anywhere else. All right, so if you don't know what a VIP patient is, I'm using my micellar water right here. And since I have excess on my hand, I don't want to make sure it does not get on to anything else and transfer. So I'll always take it and wipe it off before I do anything else, because I have the tendency to do things. So I'm using this Sonia Canuck, or whatever the name is, of this sponge purchased at Target to blend it all out. And it is moistened already. So basically, go over here. So basically, I had a patient. She was VIP. She's an older patient. She was not a OB patient. We did GYNs on that floor as well. So looking over to the side, we did OB GYN. So she was basically a med-surg GYN patient who had a female type surgery. I don't remember what kind of surgery she had. She had either a hysterectomy or I don't know, maybe a bladder. I don't know what her issue was, but she was, that's the kind of patient she was. And she was a friend of the doctor. That's what made her a VIP. And VIP, again, very important person, as you know. Again, it's just simply saying that you are someone that I should be trying to give excellent care to beyond what I give my regular patients. And I don't believe in that. I do not believe in giving anybody any special treatment. I give my Medicaid patients the same care that I give if it was the president's wife up here. So, I just don't do that. I believe everybody deserves the same treatment in terms of care, and they should all have excellent care. So, that's basically what was going on. So I was working night shift, and she was in pain. So she tells me, hey, Dr. Such and Such said that I can have 2 Tylox. And in case you don't know what Tylox is, I believe it's Percocet. And so, or another name for Percocet or whatever. So 2 Tylox. And so I said, I'm sorry, but your doctor, the order, it only says 1. He may have told you that you could have 2 Tylox, but we only have 1 ordered. I said, if you would like, I could go ahead and call the physician and go ahead and get that changed. So you could have 2 Tylox instead of the 1. Oh, no, this is her. Oh, no, I don't want to disturb him. It was about 10, 11 o'clock at night. I know he's probably resting right now. I said, well, if you would like me to, I can go ahead and call. It's not a problem. So she's like, no, she's adamant about it. No, she didn't want me to call about that. I'm about 18 months out of school, mind you. So, in hindsight, it's 2020. I should have just called. But anyway, neither here nor there. It is what it is at this point. So, I love how this foundation comes out. So, I didn't. So as time went on, I started medicating her basically every 4 hours with the 1 Tylox that she had, because that's all she had available. So every 4 hours, I medicated her Tylox. I would reassess her pain just like our protocol required us to. And I did all that. So after all that happened, I went through her. I said, let me go ahead and go through this chart real quick and make sure these orders and make sure that this is correct in terms of, let me get my lighting. Sure, is it bright enough? Yeah, there we go. So y'all can see me better. So, let's, just make sure these orders are correct. And so when I was doing that, I actually had another nurse she wasn't training me, but just was working with me, say, hey, can you look through these orders with me as well to see if you see anything that I'm not seeing, see if I'm missing something. And she looked through the orders as well, and she didn't see anything there. So I was like, okay, well, I feel like I didn't get anything wrong because this, that, and the other. I could tell she's gonna be a problem patient, but she was very kind of nice about it. But you have people who are underhanded. So I didn't know what we were gonna have to deal with. So fast forward, went through the whole night. I medicated her every 4 hours with her Tylox as she requested, followed up on her pain, did everything I was supposed to do. Now, the next morning comes around, and it's time for shift change. And so she had asked for something for gas or whatever, but she didn't have anything ordered. Now it's about 4 o'clock in the morning. She had nothing ordered for gas. And I said, well, I can go ahead again. Said, I can go ahead and call and get you a order for something for, I'll get that in a minute, something for gas. And so she's like, no, I don't want to bother him, and on and on and on. So I was like, okay, So with that being said, shift change happens about 6:30, 6:45, I don't remember. But the doctor's daughter is also a nurse at this facility. Now, mind you, this is a conflict of interest. However, at that point in time in my nursing career, I didn't even realize that and really didn't even care. So I'm using the Mented by, what is this? Mented Season 1 Ashley Blaine Featherstone and Mented collaboration. It is the highlighter and bronzer in one. So this is what I'm going to use to bronze my face. I don't really do a whole lot. Again, we're just doing a soft look. I'm just using an e.l.f. brush, an e.l.f. bronzing brush. I'm going to use the bronzing brush for both, as you see. And so basically she said, I told her what the problem was, told her what we had dealt with all night long. And she was like, oh, okay, no problem. This is the doctor's daughter, who was the doctor provider for that patient, right? So she said, oh, no problem. She said, I'm looking over to the mirror over here. She said, I will just write an order and have my dad sign it. And I was like, at this point in time, I didn't give a damn what she did, because I was ready to go home. I was tired, So I said, also, she wants something for gas because she's complaining about gas pain. She said, no problem. I'll just go ahead and write an order for it. And have my dad sign it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, this is a Friday, so I don't come back until Monday. So I end my shift. I go home. I'm thinking everything was good. I had a great weekend. A great weekend. I had my clothes ready for Monday night. I slept all day on Monday, getting ready to go to work that Monday night. And I get a call from HR. HR. When you get a call from HR, in case y'all don't know, if you get a call from HR, that's not good. That's not good at all. So I get a call from HR saying, we have an investigation going on and we don't need you to come to work tonight. And so I'm kind of like, what happened? I mean, the shift, I couldn't think back on anything that really happened that stood up that warrants HR. That's kind of what I'm saying. It didn't warrant HR at all. So I wasn't really, feeling that. So hold on just a minute. All right. So I'm back. Sorry. My kids keep running in and out the house and I'm like, this is getting on my nerves. But anyway, so, I get this phone call from HR and they're like, okay, this is what you need to do. You do not need to report to work tonight. You just we'll call you. And at this point, I'm like devastated. What has happened? I'm up here trying to figure out what has happened since Friday. Like literally nothing I felt like had happened that bad where nothing had happened that bad where I feel like I couldn't come to work or at least didn't want a phone call. Because I'm like, okay, at what point in time did I do something that didn't warrant at least a verbal warning? There's usually steps to this. Besides the fact that I don't know what even happened. So, okay, sorry. My son keeps coming in and out you hear that door slam? That's what it is. They keep coming in and out the door. But anyway, so, and I'm not going to use this highlight. It is just really too glittery for me, for the look I want for today. I do like the product, but I just don't want to use it today. So I'm going to use the California Beamin' by NYX. It is more of it's a bronzer actually, but it has highlight in it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on right here. So, yeah, I like that better. A little bit more subtle. So anyway, I'm devastated at this point. What is going on as to why no one's communicating with me about what's going on. So I'm up here revisiting that night because I knew I had to do something with that night because otherwise I hadn't been in trouble at that facility. And I only been there for 6 months at this point. So nothing had happened at that point. So I'm going to put some right down the center to highlight the nose. And that's pretty much all I do when it comes to highlighting. I don't really do a lot of contour. I don't do any of that actually. And for the look for today, this is actually enough. So this is the California Beamin' again. And this is the color, it's a bronzer, but it's the color Sunset Vibes. And I use it as really more of a highlight than the bronzer, but it does have bronzer in it. So anyway, fast forward. Brows, I'm going to use the Soft Glam. Not brows, eyeshadow. I'm going to use the color, this palette's a mess, but I'm going to use the color Burnt Orange right here. And I'm just going to use it all over my lid, and that's all I'm putting on for eyeshadow. I'm not really want to do a serious look. But anyway, so I get a phone call on Tuesday from HR saying you need to come in for an appointment today to discuss the matters that happened, I guess, Friday. I come in to HR. Again, I had been crying at this point in time because I'm kind of like, okay, what has happened as to why we are... Hold on, look at this mirror over here. Actually, I'm going to use the mirror from this right here. What is going on? So anyway, as I am trying to figure out what is going on, I go in for this meeting. And so they go in to present the situation where it's like, did you have a patient named as such and such, on Friday or whatever day it was? And I said, yes, I did. Well, she complained to the physician that you did not provide good care for her. You didn't provide good care at all for her. She asked for pain medication and you did not provide it. The patient was white, Caucasian, but the doctor is white. Her friend or whatever he was white. And some of you may be like, why does that matter? Well, it always matters when you're a black nurse. So, and that's just the truth being told. It always matters when you're a black nurse. So anyway, that I didn't provide good care for her. Now, mind you, I medicated this lady around the clock, and it was documented as such. That I ordered, that I took care of her. I paid. I didn't pay anything. I medicated her around the clock, and I did. I medicated her every 4 hours, documented accordingly, and did my follow-ups accordingly. So I did my follow-ups within 1 hour from medication administration to see what her pain was. And her pain, obviously, and her pain did get down to a reasonable level. Her pain got down to like a 3 or a 4 every single time that I gave her the medication. So it's not like her pain was an 8, you know, in or a 10, and it came down to 8 and I didn't do anything about it. It came down to a reasonable number. It came down to, like I said, a 3 or a 4 each time. So with that being said, you know, I was just like, well, I'm not sure what this is really about. And I'm actually, you know, I'm very young at this point in time. I'm probably only about 26 years old. And I'm 18 months out of school. So, you know, like I said, this is kind of what has happened. So I was just kind of like, well, you know, they present their case. The doctor tells the manager, who tells HR, well, you are no longer wanted on that floor because OB is a moneymaker for the hospital. Or did he say moneymaker? I don't know. Something about the physician was a great physician, and they didn't want the integrity of the physician to be jeopardized because of me. And I'm like, I haven't did anything wrong, but you know, it is what it is. So now I'm very upset. I was talking to my mother-in-law about it at this point in time. And she's like, you may need to file something with the EEOC, which is the equal, I don't know what it stands for. I have to look it up for you. But the EEOC basically is the one when there is race relation issues and you are getting disciplined or whatever's happening to you because of those issues, and they have no other merit, no other grounds, then, you know, it could be a race issue. So therefore we want to definitely, you know, investigate. Well, and if I haven't ever told you, Tennessee, I live in Tennessee, and Tennessee is an at-will state. That basically means that they have the right to fire you. Hold on. Okay. They have the right to fire you at will. So they don't have to have a reason to fire you. Okay. They don't like you today. You can be let go today. So just be mindful of that as we talk about this. So again, I'm in HR trying to explain my situation, my case, my story. And then they want to go and pull some stuff about, okay, well, you know what? She never passed her stable class either. So they're trying to, now they've come to build evidence as to why I don't need to be on that floor. I didn't pass stable class because, you know what, that was my first time ever taking stable. Number one, and stable, just in case you all know, it's something for babies. It's not NRP, but it's something you have to take for babies. They never gave me a textbook for stable, so I've never had that class before. So like, if you are a new nurse and you've never had, say, PALS for pediatrics or NRP for nursery or stable for nursery NICU, if you've never had those classes before, your first time taking it, and you're new to nursing, you may not know there's a book that's associated with it. They made me think that, you know, you're going to go to a class, an all-day class, and you'll learn what you need to learn from the class and take the test and you'll be certified. That's kind of what, you know, where I'm getting at with that. Now I know there's a book for it, but at that time I did not know. So stable, you know, anyway, I didn't pass stable the first time. So there was the issue with that. So anyway, they basically, just like you do, you're trying to put your evidence together as to why you're trying to get rid of somebody. Okay. So with that being said, that's what they were trying to do. So they asked the manager, they said, well, is there anywhere else in the hospital that she could work that her skills will be transferable, useful? And so, you know, mind you, I'm an OB nurse. Okay. So they were like, well, she could go and work in med-surg. I loathe med-surg. I hate med-surg. But I had 2 little girls at the time, so I had to do what I had to do. So I'll go ahead and take this position in med-surg. Now this right here is the kicker of the story. The story's already bad enough, right? What I'm about to tell you about this med-surg situation is the kicker. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that happened to you. And yes, it happened to me. And it happens to the best of us. So now they're like, okay, well, you can go to med-surg. And so I had to go but I had to go talk to the manager over there. And the manager had got a story of what had went on. And again, I still don't have a clear story myself of what went on as to why I wasn't over there. But what ended up happening was they were, you know, again, she was saying, I want you to know, this is the manager talking right now. I'm going to use this, well, I was going to use this powder for underneath my eye, but I didn't even do anything under my eye, so I'm not going to use any powder, I don't think I'm using any powder. This is a blue setting powder. It's in the banana, Wet by Wet n Wild. Maybe I will, maybe a little bit. I'm going to use the side of this sponge right here and basically just use the excess from that was in the cap. So this is what it looks like. It's more of a yellow powder, but I'm going to just use it in, under my eye right here. And so, anyway, she just wanted to kind of give me like an update about, you know, make sure this is actually coming out right. Probably should have did this before I did everything else, but you know, it is what it is at this point. I'm just gonna press that in. So she was just like, you know, this right here, and she was just really candid with this new manager was really candid with me. She's like, this is a part of the good old boy system here, and sometimes things don't work out because you just don't fit within the mix of the you know, of the not organization, but of the group. You know, you're just not a good mix, good fit. Now mind you, I hadn't did anything wrong, okay? And so I'm gonna go back over with my highlight again, highlight and bronze again. So she said, this is what we have available. She said, but I gotta warn you. I was told that if any nurse or any patient complained about you, that you would be terminated. Now, how do you think that makes me feel? If any, now mind you, you have people who don't like you for whatever reason. I'm sure you as nurses will have people who are like, you know what, we just, it wasn't a good, you know, mix for us. Sorry, I'm looking in this mirror over here. I'm going to use a little bit more bronzer, and then after that, I will move on. So, I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm not sure how I feel about this. I come into work, if I'm having a bad day, if a nurse complains about me, now mind you, if a nurse complains about me, I'm gone. If a patient complains about me, I'm gone. So, you know, this was a new adjustment for me. I've never been in a situation like this before. And so I was very distraught about it. And so I went home, talked to my husband about it. And I had little kids at the time. I had 2 little girls who were probably about 6 and 4 at the time. And at this hospital, this is another thing. This hospital offered a $4,000 sign-on bonus. Well, I needed that money. And so I took it. That's why I got the job at the hospital. Side note, if a hospital's offering you a sign-on bonus, you best believe there's a reason why. The larger the bonus, the larger the issues. I'm just letting you know that right now. So, hold on. Let me fix this camera. Okay. So, the larger the bonus, the larger the problems. Okay. So, this was only $4,000 bonus. However, like I said, you know, it was significant enough where I needed it. And so, I was worried about, too, having to pay that money back if it didn't work out, because if you have to pay all $4,000 back, or however much you actually, I think then it was the whole $4,000. If you didn't stay for, it was a 2-year thing. So if you didn't stay for your 2 years, you have to pay that money back. So I'm up here having to go to this med surge floor. I'm thinking about all these different issues. Those of you who know me or have watched my channel before, you know I do not care for med surge at all, and a lot of it stems from that situation right there. I'm using the Milani Make It Last Matte Finish finishing spray or setting spray. I love this product, 16-hour wear. It does work. And I'm about to use this real quick. Anyway, I go to my new floor. I'm working nights. And let's just say I lasted only 3 weeks there. Okay. Now let me tell you why I lasted 3 weeks. So my first day, keep in mind I'm an OB nurse. And so when it comes to being an OB nurse, basically, you know, we only deal with women, obviously. We don't deal with men. And so that was a new element for me, trying to learn how to deal with men and things like that. On top of that, we had to do things that I'm not used to doing on a regular basis. So we're doing frequent blood sugars on people, hypertensive medications. I'm learning new medications. I'm learning all kinds of new things because we don't do those things in OB typically. And then it's men and women, like I said. And so we have people who are incontinent. I'm learning how to deal with all those different things. And I am not liking this environment at all. I don't like the nurses that I'm working with. We were working with LPNs, and that was my first time working with LPNs at that point in time, where you had to do all of their insulins, their IV stuff and all that. And so we had a patient who I had noticed she was actively dying. She was transitioning. And I was just, getting used to a new floor in terms of how that worked. Someone dying, because we don't have a lot of people who, now babies do die and moms do die, but it's nothing like it is on a med surge or ICU or some type of, things where you're hospice or anything like that, where that happens. So again, I'm in a new environment, new nurses, new skill set, new everything. And then it's a hostile environment, in my opinion, anyway. So with that being said, we had a patient who, as I'm looking at my patients and everything, I had she's not a mom, she was a mom, but she wasn't OB. one woman who was actively dying. She's only in her 50s, and I was just so amazed about how she looked like she was probably in her 80s. And I'm like, what is going on with her as to why she looks so, why she looks like this, and what happens to her while she's dying. And then for the family to be calling in and say, is she dead yet? Is she dead yet? Is she dead yet? I could not stand that. I'm like, how are you all dealing with people who act like this? Are you dead yet? Is she dead yet? Then to the room next to her, there was a woman in there who she wasn't dying, but her daughter's there doing her hair and straightening her hair and coming in and doing her makeup for her. I mean, it was such the dramatic difference between the two rooms, and I was not used to that at all. And so with that being said, I was like, okay, what kind of floor is this, that I'm dealing with? So this woman was dying, and she was not my patient, but I would go in there and do vital signs to help out every so often because, again, I don't want to lose my job because everything they said to do, I'm like, let me go here and do so I don't lose my job. So anyway, you would hear her moan all day long, just moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning and moaning all day long. So with that being said, okay, you knew she wasn't dead yet because I could hear her moaning type of thing. Well, while I'm dealing with her, I had this incontinent man who really enjoyed me cleaning him up, which, again, I'm not a fan of any of that. So I thought that was disgusting to me. Not cleaning him up, the fact that he enjoyed and he would purposely, when he could tell me, there was times he could tell me that he could go to the bathroom, but yet he would not do it. He would just wet himself or stool himself when I could have put a bedpan under him type of thing. So that was going on. Plus I had this other patient who was a diabetic who LPN had him. She wasn't my patient, she was the LPN's patient, but again, he could not do her insulin and things like that. So she was what we call a frequent flyer, where she comes in every so often because of the fact that she's not managing or non-compliant with her diabetes regimen. So with that being said, I had to go in there for the LPN and do his insulin. Well, she hated everyone. And remember, if I get one complaint, I'm out, right? So I'm in there doing the blood sugars or whatever. Meantime, she's throwing things at the LPN, and I mean, she's just on her, just throwing things. I don't know what her problem was, but that's what she was doing. And so that was my first 2 shifts because I only worked weekends at that point in time. That was my first 2 shifts, okay? That Saturday and Sunday. And I was working days. I got moved to days. And I'm like, okay, well, this may work better for me. This will move to days. And I came home and sit in my car after got off and I'd cry and cry and cry. This is just not what I want to do. This is never what I want to do as a nurse. Make sure I actually got foundation up there. Okay, this is never what I want to do as a nurse. This is miserable to me. For those of you who love med-surg, that is wonderful, but it's just not my niche. And I don't understand how I got here in the first place because I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything wrong, okay? I never was opportunity to defend myself in that meeting in the first place, besides what I just told you. All right, I'm going to use, for mascara, I'm going to use the Fenty mascara. It's the new one. It's a full frontal volume lift and curl mascara. It has 2 sides. It has the flat side, as you see, and then it has the curl or whatever side it is. But anyway, I'm going to use this mascara. I actually like this one. So I'm actually going to use my mirror over here. So I'm sitting there, dealing with this, no one really to talk to because I don't know anybody on this floor. And of course, everybody's heard my story that I got, removed from OB. So I really, don't really have any friends or no one I can really talk to. That one janitor that I told you about, he found me and he was just like, I told you this would happen. And I'm like, I'm up here like, I don't understand what happened. That's the problem. That's the problem that I have. I'm not understanding what exactly happened as to why I was removed. He said, they will make sure you're gone by any means necessary. And I said, I guess I could see that. Look, you can see what difference of one eye looks like versus the other when you have this mascara on. So I'll come a little closer so you can see. It's very pretty, actually. Anyway, so, I go through that first weekend contemplating on coming back for the second weekend or not. Remember, I told you it only lasted 3 weeks. So I come back the next weekend. It's more of the same thing. And again, some of the same patients are there because they're there for a while or they've left and they've come back and things like that. That woman is still there. The one who was transitioning, she's still there. She hasn't died at this point in time, still moaning or whatever. And so again, I don't do death very well. I really don't care for death. In terms, I know that's the end result for everything and everybody, but that's just not my thing. So I wasn't really feeling that. So with that being said, I went home that second weekend and I decided, okay, you know what? I was starting to have physical symptoms, basically meaning that I had stopped having periods and I knew I was not pregnant. Okay. I knew that because people like, are you pregnant? No, I was not pregnant. So this job, it affected me in such a way that I stopped having periods. It affected me in the way that I started losing my hair. I started having physical symptoms when I would drive up to the job. So when I had to work that day, I would have stomach aches, diarrhea, headaches, dizzy, all kinds of things. But when I was off, I didn't have any of those problems. So I began to realize this was not a true sickness that I had. I was reacting to how my physiological responses were based off of how that job was and how miserable I was at that job. So, I had came home after that second shift and decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and type up my notice. I didn't care about the $4,000 at that point in time. I'll pay it back. They won't get it all at one time. I don't care if I have to pay $5 a pay period. You'll get it back. But I didn't care. I just didn't even care at that point in time because I was so miserable at this job. And it's nothing worse than having a job that you are absolutely miserable at. And you are up here like, well, you know what? I'm just going to do it for the sake of my kids. I was going to be dead anyway, the way that job was having me. My blood pressure was up. I didn't have periods. Basically, everything that was going on and with me was not normal. And so, and I knew the job was the culprit. And I had people talking to me and saying, okay, you know what? There's no job worth you going through this. You're not going to be good to your children if you are doing things, I said, it got to the point where, and I'm at that point, right, not right now, but I've always said this before. I would rather go work at McDonald's, Walmart, or anywhere that I'm not going to best use my skills and then I'm not happy. I refuse to be somewhere where, and now mind you, there's days where I'm not happy with my jobs now. But with that being said, it's not where, I love what I do as an OB nurse. I have bad days, but everywhere. Every day was a bad day. So I had already typed up my notice. I just didn't put a date on it. I signed it and everything. I said, you know what? The next time this happens, I'm gone. I'm putting this notice in. Well, okay. It's time for, the next weekend to come. Again, I'm good all week long. No symptoms the entire week. I am just as happy as can be, having a good life. Everything is fine. But then, again, that weekend comes back and it's time to go to work and I'm feeling sick all over again. But again, I'm not big on calling in. So, and I have to work, take care of my kids. So I ended up, going into work. And now it is a Saturday morning. I got report. This is the third weekend. This is the weekend that I quit. And so I go in that morning at 6 something in the morning. I'm about to use NYX. Again, I'm going to a movie, so I'm not going to use anything, too lavish. But this right here is the NYX lip liner. It's in the color Nutmeg right here. I'm going to use this. And for my lip gloss, I'm going to use the Tiramisu lip gloss by NYX. It's the butter gloss. So I'm going to use these two together for my lips. And then we'll be finished with our look and I'll finish your story. So anyway, I'm going to look at my mirror over here. So I go in and they were like, Marita, we need you to, this is about 6 something in the morning on a Saturday morning, 6:45-ish. No, about 7 because shift change had already happened. But we're going to need you to go in into to such and such's room, whatever room number it was, and go do some vital signs. We need some vital signs on her. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. Again, I can't do anything wrong because if I do, then I'm going to be fired anyway. Or, yeah, fired. So I had go in her room and I realized that, she's not moaning anymore. It didn't dawn on me yet. She's not moaning. I said, maybe they didn't, again, I'm only 6 months out of school, so I don't know what I'm thinking about. Maybe they didn't medicate her or something, right? This is the lady that was transitioning, mind you. So I go in there and just like a person who's told to do what she's told to do, I go to get a set of vital signs. Guess what? I didn't get any vital signs. And I'm trying to figure out, how in school they teach you that you assess the patient, not the machine type of thing. So I'm up here like, why am I not getting vital signs? I go look at this patient. It's 7 in the morning. When I tell you, at that point in time, I realized she was already dead. Those nurses had me go in and do vital signs on a deceased body. When I tell you how cold and callous and inhumane that was, all right, when I tell you how cold and callous that was, this is the finished look, by the way. I'll go change later, but this is the finished look. So this is what I'm looking like going to the movies today. But when I tell you that was cold and callous how they treated me, they purposely had me go into this room to a woman that was already deceased, do vital signs on someone that was already deceased. And when I came out that room, I was horrified because, for one, I didn't know if she had just died or not, or she had been dead. So I came out running out the room saying, oh my gosh, I couldn't get any vital signs. She's, I think she's dead. When I looked down at the nurses station, there was about 6 nurses, night shift and day shift, sitting down there laughing when I came out the room. They thought this was the funniest thing ever. The funniest thing ever. They were literally laughing and laughing and laughing. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she didn't realize that woman was dead. Da, 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 da. I walked out that room in tears, for one, because I don't do death well, and they knew I didn't do death well. I'm not understanding why the morgue hadn't come got her, because not the morgue, but why she wasn't in the morgue at the hospital, and then why the funeral home hadn't come got her. And when I tell you I cried that whole morning, and I thought about walking out right at that moment to go home. Now it's a Saturday, so there's no nurse manager or anybody there. So I end up, after I told them a few things about how inhumane that was to treat a body like that, that's somebody's mother, that's somebody's daughter. To treat a body like that, and at this point in time, I didn't care about losing that job. I could care less about losing that job. I could care less about who reported me or whatever. And I said, if they ever did anything like that again, ever, I said, I'll make sure that every last one of them lost their jobs. And that's exactly what I meant. I said, because you don't do that to me, or you don't do that to this woman, her family. No matter if the family don't want to do it or not, at all or not. You don't do that to people. So when that happened, I was just like, that is your sign from God. It's time to go. That is your sign right there from God. It is time to go. And I was ready to go at that point in time. So I, at that point in time, I put that date on that resignation letter, and I put that in the manager's box right then and there. It took everything in me not to walk off that floor at that moment. It took everything in me. I was ready to go and leave that floor at that moment. But I said, if I do this, is patient abandonment. And I didn't know what that would look like for my future in terms of licensure. I didn't know what would happen in that situation. Would I lose my license or stuff like that? I have to maintain my license because I do have children. I didn't care about that $4,000. I didn't care about anything like that. You just have to sue me for it, because you may not even get it after that. I didn't care. I was gone. So I finished my shift. I called in the next day, Sunday. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I'm not. So I called in the next day. Monday, the manager calls me. She said, I need you to come in. I went in on Monday. I told her exactly what had happened. I told her this was inhumane. I will not be treated as such. I don't care what was told to you by the other unit. I will not tolerate such nonsense. And, and that's when she went on to tell me this is part of the good old boy system here. And this is kind of how they are here. And I said, you know what? If this is what I have to do, if this is what you all do to people just to say that you don't want them there, you know what? I take the hint. I'm gone. I said, but you know what? You will be hearing from my attorney. Now, mind you, I ain't got no attorney. I'm just telling them stuff like that. I ain't got no attorney. Can't afford no attorney anyway. That $4,000 is already gone. I had to use that to move, matter of fact, and get set up in my new house, my new apartment at the time. So that $4,000 was gone. I ain't got no money. I ain't got no attorney. But that's what I told her. So after that had happened, fast forward, she took my resignation or whatever. So then HR contacts me back and says, okay, you have to pay that $4,000 back. So I ended the job, but now I have issues with that $4,000. So that $4,000. So I said, you know what? Let me go back and read this contract again. So read your contracts. I read the contract again, and it said I can't quit OB. I can't quit where I was hired for. So I said, okay, I found a loophole. So anyway, I go back to HR and I give a timeline of everything that had happened. I documented everything. I had my own little notes basically. So I documented everything that had happened with the first situation with the OB unit, and then what happened on this med surg unit, and then what happened that particular day. I said, this is what happened. Those nurses, by the way, were reprimanded, and some of them lost their jobs as a result of that. I wasn't trying to have them lose their jobs, but they treated me. That was so wrong to do. So wrong to do. So I don't care how much you don't like someone. Don't ever do that to them. Don't ever. So anyway, they did. Some of them lost their jobs. Some were reprimanded. You know, and that. But back to the HR thing and the $4,000. So I had to file a grievance. They said, well, you need to file a grievance then. So I filed a grievance, and it went all the way up to the CEO of the hospital. By the time I got to the CEO of the hospital, let me tell you what they did for me. Because I already told them I was contacting my attorney and the EEOC. Well, they already knew they needed to keep my mouth closed, right? They needed to keep my mouth closed because they were like, okay, yeah, y'all messed up. They knew that those employees had messed up. And they knew that I was serious about getting me an attorney. I wasn't, because I didn't have no money for an attorney. But I told them that. You know, I told them that. But I was going to contact the EEOC because they will help you for free. So I was going to contact them or whatever. Let me just tell you this. By the time I finished going through the grievance process and going up this chain to the CEO, I did not have to pay that $4,000 back. And I did not have to do my 2 weeks. They paid me to stay at home. That's how bad they didn't want me to say nothing about that situation. They paid me for another 2 weeks of pay, which gave me great, leverage to go get another job or whatever. And I get to keep that $4,000. I never had to pay that money back. So that is the story. That is my story. That is a horrible story. I'm glad I can tell it without crying. I mean, mind you, I've been a nurse for 16 years. This happened like 15 years. This happened like, 14 and a half or 13 and a half years ago. So I'm not tearful anymore about it. But when I tell you, it used to be where that story would bring me to tears, because I don't understand how as nurses we treat each other so bad because of the fact that either we don't like you because of what you look like. They never liked the fact that I was going to get my master's degree when their nurses are going to get their bachelor's degree. They don't like when some people don't like when minorities try to obtain higher levels of education, when they were congratulated for going to get their bachelor's degree. I think it's wonderful they were getting their bachelor's degree, but I was going to school online. So what I was doing does not impact my patient care, at least not at that point. Now, mind you, when it came from my clinicals in 2 years, then that would have been something different. But obviously I wasn't there. So that wouldn't matter for them anyway. But when I say to you, sometimes you have to think about, okay, do I really fit in here? Are they making me feel like I'm sick? Do they make me feel like I'm not appreciated? Do they value me as a nurse? Do they value my knowledge, my expertise? Am I making mistakes? Am I the one who's being kind of ridiculous here? And if that's not your story, then sometimes you have to go somewhere where you do, I hate to say this, but fit in. Unfortunately, I hate to say it like that. You are not going to make me so miserable to the point where I don't have a period. Now, mind you, I don't miss them if I don't have them. But if I'm sick, I'm sick. I don't want to be sick. And you drove me to a point where physiological, my body has changed to the point where I'm that stressed coming to this job, walking on eggshells. I do not want to ever have that situation ever again. And I haven't had that situation. If I have, I've quit the job. And so don't be afraid to quit your job for your sanity, for your license, for your namesake, for anything like that. Do not let people treat you any kind of way. And I think that was the biggest takeaway from that they were trying to treat me any kind of way and thinking that this would be okay for them to do to me. And because I was on the verge of basically losing a job anyway, that I'll be okay with this. I'm like, no, I'm not okay with this. Be mindful of that. So anyway, that's the biggest takeaway from this story. It was a learning lesson for me. I never contacted the EEOC, never had to, because of course they remedied the situation. But I did move on. I had a job. Actually, I had a job the very next month, or during that 2 weeks off, I had already got me another job already. And then 2 months after that, matter of fact, that's when I started teaching as a nurse educator. Exactly about a week or two after that situation is when I started becoming a nurse educator. So really, it was a blessing in disguise. Sometimes God will sit there and put you in situations to remove you because you won't leave on your own. I love that hospital. I loved wearing pink. I loved my job I had. I learned so much. I learned how to transition in terms of nursery babies there. I learned so much at that hospital. But sometimes if you're not where God wants you to be, he will do things to make you uncomfortable where you have to leave or you get fired, or I get fired, but you know, where you have to leave so he can put you where you're supposed to be. And at that point in time, that's when I got into my niche of being a nurse educator. And I've been a nurse educator ever since. And I think this is where I'm supposed to be. So that is the takeaway from this. Move on when it's time to move on. Sometimes there's bigger and better things for you in life. Or always there's bigger and better things for you in life. Whatever you learn from it, learn to move on. So I don't appreciate the story, but it has shaped me to be the nurse that I am today, to be the nurse educator that I am today, because I would have never become a nurse educator if it wasn't for that situation. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'm not going to finish getting dressed here. This video's long enough. I'm just basically wanted to show you the makeup look while I'm getting ready. I will put, you know, I'm actually do some more videos today since I'm already made up. And you will see a video on my current favorites and a video on more nursing, I guess, but I'm already made up for it. So you will see different looks, different outfit, but this is what it is. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Please comment below anything that you want to maybe know about that situation, or tell me what you think about this situation. You know, how have you ever been in a situation before where you have been mistreated, where you have had to quit your job because they made you feel some kind of way, or have you been you know, felt isolated, or someone you couldn't even talk to? Did they ridicule you? That was a form of nurse bullying, by the way. That is nurse bullying, by the way, just so you know. That is bullying. Have you been bullied before? How did you handle it? Put those comments below. Anyway, thank you. And until the next time, I thank you so much for watching my channel. This channel's grown exponentially, and I appreciate you all. Anything you want to know nursing wise in terms of me to do a video on, put that down below as well. Thank you so much. And until the next time, take care. Bye-bye.